We are Echo Base Network. I am the coach. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching this video. If you've not already, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our content that we release from week to week. Also, guys, if you'd like to support the channel, hit the join button. Look at the different levels of membership that we offer you guys. You won't be disappointed, and join our member family today. Nick and I greatly appreciate it.
Hello, my name's Tim Rose, and I'm with you here at Echo Base today. I've had a great time, and I played Admiral Ackbar in Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, and finally in The Last Jedi. But the one thing that I seem to be remembered more than anything else is, it's a trap!
Hello, I am Vincent, which means vital information necessary centralized.
And my name's Bob, Biosanitation Battalion.
We wish to welcome you to Echo Base Network, where we keep Star Wars alive and remember why we fell in love with it in the first place.
That's right, Vincent. And I think the best thing about EBN is that they're a home to all fans. Even old rust buckets like me.
Old rust bucket indeed. Okay everyone, it's time for the show. And remember, we are, you are.
Echo Base Network.
Thank you.
Anakin Skywalker, meet Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The Force will be with you, always.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Anakin Skywalker, meet Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What is thy bidding, my master?
You're under arrest, Chancellor.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
The Force will be with you, always. Like the map, all of them. The Force will be with you, always.
What is going on? We are UBAR Echo Base Network. Thank you for being here Saturday night. As always, love you guys. We got a great one tonight. You got me. Nick is not here, but we got two people sitting in his seat. Matt Rissman and X-Wing will be joining me here in just a moment. Welcome to our weekly Saturday night Star Wars live stream show that we call EBN Live. Welcome to our members, our mods, our subscribers, and any and all guests. We are honored by your presence. We have a long list of people to welcome. Ghost Rider, Rogue Sarge, Jedi Master Lawrence, Mary Lanning, Aaron Ratliff, Legion of Maul, Mattuine, Venger, Ted's Nerd World, Alan Copeland, OG, Huda Halla May, Rock Lee, That Junk Man, Shadow Dragon, Starchip 66, Donna Hergenrither, The White Snake, Nova Vaughn, Darcipio, Naps, Jedi Padawan Trayla, Spaceship, Vampire, Prometheus, Kronos, Thrawn, Matt Rissman, Luis X Sparrow, Low Spec Linux Laptop. What up, Jeff? Deborah Young, John Graber, the Space Jockey, Moggs E, Skits 3D, Mark Wahlberger, Sam R, Mad Maxwell, Dave Pitts, KG, Stephen Yarnell, Julie Y, Dan the Man, Albert Zulke, Star Wars Mom, Felix Kiros, Lauren Connor, Jared Markham, Eli Martin, Bo and Debbie Mulder, Blackbird Tech, and Olaf Van S. Anybody that I missed, I apologize. Let me know in the chat that you guys are here. I'm sure that I missed quite a few of you. We got 133 people here tonight. Let me tell you what's going on. We got our normal routine Saturday night show where we start with the fun stuff. We start with the toys. We start with the, whatever's happening, that's small, and we build and we build and we build and we get to the main news last. We're not doing that tonight. You saw the thumbnail. Many of you clicked on the show tonight. You're here because of the thumbnail. You're here because the title of the show says Kathy Kennedy is almost gone. Maybe you have a little bit of hope. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just here to find out what is going on. What is everybody saying? They took our stream down too. How about that crap? We finally have a stream that's like, yes, look what's happening. And then we get blocked. We actually got blocked. You know how many times I've ran that pre-show? We got blocked tonight? Okay. Coincidence, sure, I guess. Doesn't really matter. We are here. So tonight we're going to be discussing all of the Star Wars news, and we're kind of going backwards. We're starting with the hot stuff first. We're starting with the big stuff first. We want to say this real quick before I bring in my co-host. As always, there are 4 different ways that you can support us here at the channel. You can join our member family. We are 250 plus members strong. You could join our Patreon family where Nick and I are getting videos up every week. We got over 150 shirts in our merch store, and any and all super chats we greatly, greatly appreciate. Real quick, I want to run through all of the super chats that we have received during the pre-show and here at the very beginning of the show. So, Mr. Producer Man, if you don't mind, highlight the White Snakes first. She's going to be at the very top. She sends in a $10 super chat. She says, "Hi, everyone. Do you think it will get better or worse with KK gone?" That's a great question. Hopefully it gets better, but it could go either way, or it could stay the same. That's definitely something that we could talk about quite a bit tonight, Becky. Thank you so much for sending that $10 in. Great topic of conversation there. King Advisors with a $2 super chat. Hell, EBN, any idea when the next lore video will be? I'll get you one out this weekend or this week. I promise you, King's Advisors. I will get you one out this week. It will happen. Ted's Nerd World with a $1.99 super sticker with the number 1. We are number 1. That's right, Ted. Rogue Sarge with a $20 super chat. Hello, everyone at EBN. What is up, Rogue Sarge? Thank you so much, Bobby. Felix Kiros with a $20 super chat. Hello, EBN. Happy to be in the state of Florida. Looking forward to the latest Star Wars news and updates. Coach and Nick are the best. We are, you are. Echo Base Network. Let's go. Thank you so much, Felix. Debbie Young has gifted 10 memberships. So all of you guys that are new members, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Debbie, for sending that out. And then Donna Hergenrether, right after her, gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. So that's 15 new members. So thank you all so much. As we always say here, we are, you are Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for the super chats, guys. On with the show, bringing in my co-host right after this. Thank you. All right, like I said, it is time to bring them in. You know him, you love him. Everybody, welcome to our show tonight. Matt Rissman, Rissman Base Network.
Hello. Somehow Matt Rissman has returned once again, Coach.
He has returned. Well, when Nick let me know 45 minutes before the show that he wasn't going to be able to make it, you're on deck. So here you are. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick is not fired. He will be back, but he is tied up at the moment. And you know him, you love him. He's a super positive force in the YouTube space. He does a great job. I consider him a very, very good friend. He motivates me as a content creator, as a YouTuber. It's so great having somebody that I consider a real friend in this space. So everybody, Valiant Renegade.
Oh, that was so cruel. So very cruel.
I was like, there's no way this ends well. There's no way that this ends well.
I was waiting for the shoe to drop.
You were like, wait, is he still talking about me? Like, what?
Ethan, is that what you tell people on the internet? Okay,
Yeah.
I see how it is.
How are you, X-Wing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're already off to a very interesting start, right? I'm sure it's pure coincidence that the one time you put KK right in the front and big news about KK leaving, somehow the pre-roll gets your stream taken down. That's odd. I'm sure it's coincidence. I'm sure it's coincidence. Yeah.
I hope it wasn't the Andor content I forced you to put in the pre-show, Coach.
So, guys, we're jumping right into it. And I don't know, I talked to Rissman earlier today. X-Wing, I don't know how much you have kept up with what has happened in the last 3 days when basically, guys, and we're going to get into this a little bit more specifically here in a few minutes, but Cameron Pasha dropped some huge news, and Cameron, I mean, again, we're going to get into it later, but if what he said is true, and I have never thought that Cameron Pasha was lying, I just never have. He was told by some of his friends who were still in Hollywood. Cameron's not. Cameron was phased out. And I think he very much wants to be back in Hollywood. But Cameron was an extremely good director, writer. He worked on the Tron Uprising animated show on Disney Plus, ironically. Or on Disney, rather. So he dropped some huge news and basically saying Kathy Kennedy, not only is Kathy Kennedy leaving in June after Indiana Jones, a mountain of other people are going to be let go right after she's gone. And that we're going to continue that goes some more steps. What I want to talk about before we get there is we've got a really good article to look at. And this touches the surface on what we're talking about. This is basically the introduction. So if you guys will stay with me, I don't know if you two gentlemen have already seen this or not. Well, Rissman, I know you have, but it's become a joke of a franchise. Fans claim Star Wars has finally become too woke for its own good. And this is where we are starting tonight. You could find this article over at Fandom Wire. I'll tell you what, I will throw it in the chat for everybody if you would like to click on it and follow along with us. So there it is. Go ahead and give that a click and follow along with us if you want to, but you can see it right here on screen. So it's become a joke of a franchise. Fans claim Star Wars has finally become too woke for its own good. The Star Wars franchise has released its third trilogy in the past couple of years. The final installment concluded the story with Rise of Skywalker. The franchise has made a total of 9 movies so far. Now Disney and Star Wars leaker, Doomcock, which actually, he's not a leaker. Well, I mean, I guess he is. But anyways, hey guys, this is mentioning Doomcock. A lot of people are going to be like, "Whoa, wait a minute! It's mentioning Doomcock, blah 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 blah." First of all,
Coach, let me just pause for a second because I highlighted a Tina Turner is dead comment. Tina Turner is not dead, so that's what I just want to unhighlight. I just want to unhighlight the Tina Turner is dead comment. Please I'm sorry to interrupt, but please.
Okay, no problem.
Not dead.
So,
not dead.
Doomcock, it was Wednesday night, had Cameron on his show, and that's where Cameron dropped the information. Doomcock is a friend to Echo Base Network, myself and Nick. Nick is over there every Wednesday night, so you could see Nick on Doomcock's show every Wednesday night. Go over there and check it out. But he's not really, this article is not really sourcing Doomcock, even though it did come from his channel. So now Disney and Star Wars leaker Doomcock has revealed that the House of Mouse is reportedly trying to remove the woke agenda from its upcoming movies and TV shows. So there were many complaints and fans were riled up as a number of things did not add up or make sense. They did not like
Jay in there.
They do. Yeah, he's in there a lot. They did not like the direction it was headed, and since then, Disney's been trying to change things in its upcoming work. And then you see the tweets there from Drunk 3PO. Drunk 3PO says Lucasfilm Disney has turned off so many people from Star Wars, it's become a joke of a franchise. It might be so far gone, not even new management can save it. A remake of A New Hope will probably happen, and that will finally be the last heartbeat of an IP already in a coma. If they ever remake those shows, that I'm going to be very, very unhappy with that. But I agree with what Drunk said at the beginning. Lucasfilm Disney has turned off so many people from Star Wars, it's become a joke of a franchise. I couldn't agree more with that statement, because that is what's happened. And, just so happens we have a Star Wars channel and we come here and talk about it every week, and things are getting spicy right now. So, and then you got people, John Douglas here, they'll race swap Luke, just watch, and that's certainly, people just commenting. But Drunk 3PO saying that, according to Overlord Doomcock, who is a much famed and prolifically correct source when it comes to Disney and Star Wars, the franchise has made a new plan that will be changing everything about how the production will work in its upcoming shows. They said that these rumors are not to be taken seriously, and further explain that, according to a source that has been reliable in the past, the crap is about to hit the fan at Disney. I'm told that getting the SJWs out of Disney is now priority one, mandated by the sudden realization that sometimes cliches are cliches for a reason, and a new understanding at the highest level that get woke, go broke is no longer just a slogan. Disney is a platform that survives on the fans and audiences who provide them with revenues by watching their movies and other shows. Now, if a majority of that portion of the audience riles up, they would obviously want to rectify it. Such is the case now, as Disney is only concerned with profitability, the leaker said. Disney executives have realized that fans have been driven away from their precious franchises in droves by identity politics. Now it's time to get back to doing business. Time to remember the old adage, the customer is always right. So here's what we know. And the article goes on. And here are some other things that were dropped on Doomcock's show Wednesday night with Cameron Pasha. One, he said Kennedy is absolutely out at the end of June. And they went into some details about how Kathleen Kennedy was up for contract renewal and she didn't get it. She did not get a renewed contract. She got an extension. Those are two very different things, according to Cameron Pasha. And I understand that. That kind of makes sense. No, Kathy, we're not giving you a new contract. We're extending you through June, and then you're gone.
Well,
okay.
June is relevant because of Indy, right? Doesn't Indy come out in June?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So here's why this is most applicable to us. Because apparently Bob Iger, and keep your eyes on the chat, Matt, because somebody might be able to, some of you probably know more about some of this than I do even. So apparently Bob Iger and the higher ups gave Chapek a job to run off some of the woke people. And he did that. He fired people, head started rolling, and now Bob Iger comes back, and this has all been part of the plan, some people are saying. I don't know if I buy that. But anyways, I'm just telling you what they're saying. They're also saying that the story group will follow her immediately. Pablo Hidalgo and the story group are leaving. Valiant broke a story about that. I believe it was yesterday. Our friends DW Pro, Lauren Connor here with us tonight. They have broken a story that the story group for Lucasfilm will be leaving following Kennedy. Cameron,
it's funny, Coach. I follow Pablo Hidalgo on Twitter just because sometimes he drops some nuggets that are interesting. And one of the things I saw, he put up a poll and he's like, how many people are in the story group? 1, 2, no way to know. Right. I was like, well, isn't that a very interesting Twitter poll to put up right now? Right.
That is pretty funny.
To be somewhat related to this conundrum.
So Cameron also said, he called it a purge. Cameron Pasha said the purge is underway as soon as Kennedy is gone, including Pablo Hidalgo. And then here's where Doomcock took it to somewhere that kind of tugs on the old heartstrings a little bit, guys. According to Doomcock, when Kathy is gone and the story group is gone, I can't believe I'm even about to say this. I'm just telling you what they said, and gosh, I hope it's true, y'all. They said that the veil of the Force in the world between worlds and the alternate reality, they said once Kathy is gone and the story group is gone, that the story group has been what's holding back Favreau and Filoni from doing that. And they're saying that Favreau and Filoni, once those people are gone and they have more control over the story that they're telling, that's the direction that they're going to be going. And we're going to get Star Wars that does not lead to episodes 7, 8, and 9. Because if you think about it, 5 years after Return of the Jedi is the Mandalorian setting. We're getting closer and closer and closer as time goes on to episode 7. It's going to happen. We're going to get there eventually. So they're saying the veil of the Force, world between worlds, killing the sequels, whatever you want to say. That's what we're talking about after Kennedy is gone. And the news that actually predated dropping this, the report that Damon Lindelof's movie is not happening. It's not happening. Damon Lindelof, who earlier in the week said, white man bad. We need a POC as the main protagonist of my movie. Now, according to Cameron Pasha, his movie was never even greenlit. Like, it's not even going to happen according to them. So, guys, that's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to unpack, Coach.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So, with all of that being said, does this make you have more hope?
Where do we start?
I don't even know. Just go.
I mean, for me, I think it sounds great, but I still have a huge problem thinking they're going to do something to retcon or wipe away the sequels. Right? There is a part of the fandom that does like the sequels. There is an awful lot of infrastructure at Disney that is built around the sequels, and for me, I'm like, it sounds good, right? But I have a hard time believing that's going to happen. The Lindelof movie, what's it all about? It's never really been officially announced, right? It's been announced to us via the trades only.
And 9 other movies.
Well, right. But now this one seems to be the one they've been talking about the most, right? And so, I don't know what to make of that, right? 2025, the next movie, a lot of us were hoping it would be a Mando-focused movie, something set in that time period, something that helps culminate what they're doing on Disney Plus. That's a tough one for me. I think I said to X-Wing in a different stream, I've sort of moved into the acceptance phase on Star Wars movies, in so much as if we get another one, we get another one. I just don't want a movie disaster, right? And I don't think they do either. But I still have a hard time thinking they're going to retcon the sequels. And I think we have a lot of evidence that what Filoni and Favreau, to an extent, are doing in the Mandoverse is filling in the blanks to get us to the First Order, to get us to the sequels. And I think we're going to see a lot of that in Ahsoka. So there's some parts of this that doesn't quite add up to me from a pure story perspective.
So that's interesting that you say that, because Ahsoka was a main part of the conversation, because apparently Kathy Kennedy's exit and the story group's exit as well will happen before Ahsoka launches. Does that mean that they're going to have time to change anything or whatever?
And Filoni's writing Ahsoka, right? For all intents and purposes, let's not get me on a rant about Favreau writing anything, especially Book of Boba Fett. but I think as far as Ahsoka goes, Filoni is writing, directing, and loving us through Ahsoka, right? Whether we enjoy the story he's telling or not, whether that story respects the non-canon perspective of Thrawn and some of the rest of that stuff or not, put it in the parking lot. Ahsoka is Filoni's baby. So I don't think there's anything about Story Group one way or the other that has any influence over Ahsoka at all. I think it's always going to be that story that Filoni wants to tell. And that's just my opinion.
All right, so I want to hand this over to you, X-Wing, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this, and you can kind of piggyback and just take it where you want to go. In my opinion, if they want to fix Star Wars, if they want to make money, then you need to give us an alternate timeline. Because I'm telling you, the moment we go running right into the sequels, more people are leaving than are coming. It's an exit. It widens the exit door. More people are leaving than more people are being drawn to Star Wars because you're taking us right back to a time we don't want to revisit. Like, we do not want to do that. And if you like money, you better get that fixed. You can't ever have the original 3 actors back together again. You can't do it. Not with their literal physical selves. Carrie Fisher's dead.
Yeah.
So there's you had a chance and you squandered it, but you could still repair this franchise by not taking us to the sequels.
Well, listen here. I'll touch on. So the first part of the whole question is Kathleen Kennedy and the Story Group making an exit. Is this going to have an effect? Do we really think that's real? Are they actually dumping an SJW agenda out of Lucasfilm? No, that's a lot of really good words that people use to try to get you excited about what might happen. If you think for a second that Lucasfilm is sitting down and saying, we need to get rid of the SJWs, it's not happening. That's not how Lucasfilm works. That has never been a conversation in the boardroom. That's never going to be a conversation in the boardroom. But 2 things can be true at once. So I kind of view this as like a Viking, and he's sailing along and he sees a raven. Well, if you see a raven, you know you're close to land, but he's saying Odin is with us, right? 2 things can be true at once. I think what we're seeing is probably very much the same thing as Iger taking over, that if Kathleen Kennedy goes, when you take out the general, lieutenants go with the general too. And so I think that's more what we're going to see from the Story Group. We're going to see more people that were put in place by Kathleen Kennedy or supporting Kathleen Kennedy that probably make their exit when Kathleen does too. I don't think that means that Disney is doing an SJW purge. That's not Disney's MO. It never has been. And definitely with Iger at the front of the table, that's not something that's happening. We know. So that's a little tough. Obviously, that's speculation on my part, but when it comes to the retconning of the sequels and this new road and how we're going to get alternate timelines and stuff like that, again, I don't think Disney's ever going to do that. Their way through, or their way of justifying, is to create a story for the time between George Lucas Star Wars and Disney Star Wars and try to make us accept what we got by going back and retroactively telling a story where we would care about what happened in the sequels. Now, you said it yourself, Coach, that opens up the door. That makes it easier for people to leave. That is exactly the road that they're going to head down.
That is so destructive to Star Wars and its
tough
future.
pill to swallow, man, but it's what's happening. So buckle up.
Well,
I think though, Coach, what we can, if we want to attach a little bit of hope to the trajectory we're on, right? To me, that hope is the Filoni-Favreau combo of trying to stitch together a story that makes sense, right? But again, the barrier to entry is you have to accept that the sequels exist, right? And that what they're doing is in a similar way as the Clone Wars did in a lot of situations, right, for the prequels. Right, that what they're doing in Mando specifically, potentially also in Ahsoka, is they're trying to stitch us together in a way that that says, okay, here's what was going on between Return of the Jedi and, you know, Episode 7, and do we buy into that, right? Is that a story that's well told? For a lot of folks, it's a very tough pill to swallow, because it means you have to accept the end result, right? You have to accept the sequels to really appreciate and understand and have something happen for you from a storytelling standpoint in how they're stitching it all together. And I've even seen in the chat, I've highlighted a few of them, right? And the people are saying, you know, if Snoke shows up, if the First Order shows up, if my goodness, if Praetorian Guards show up, if things show up that I really think are happening in Mando 3, for some constituents, some fans, they're like, nah, I'm out. Right? Mando finished for me. You know, that's the last straw. It's a really, really tough situation from a fan's perspective. What do you do? You're loving The Mandalorian, and now all of a sudden it's sequels adjacent. How do you reconcile that? It's so tough. It's so very tough.
A lot of people won't. That's the bottom line. There are a lot of people that, and this is the predicament that Lucasfilm finds itself in now, is it doesn't matter how quality the content is. If it has an attachment to the sequels, they won't accept it, no matter how good it is. You'll still get laser eye thumbnails. You'll still get a bunch of, you know, a bunch of it. And I can't blame them. I can't stand in front of any Star Wars fan that's unhappy or says Star Wars is dead and be mad at them right now. I can't.
You know, I hated episodes 8 and 9. Absolute hate. And I would say the past year, I've got to the point where the hate was kind of gone, and now I'm just indifferent. Now I just don't care. Whatever.
Apathy.
You know, whatever. Now that all these rumors have sparked back up, everything that Cameron Pasha is saying, I hate them again.
Isn't that funny?
Now that
it brings it back to the surface, doesn't it?
It did. And I'll tell you, 2 years ago, guys, it's been 2 years ago, which, oh, by the way, was about 2 weeks after Chapter 16 of The Mandalorian. In Jon Favreau's first interview following Chapter 16, when Star Wars was on the highest, in my opinion, high it has been on since The Force Awakens released. Force Awakens, good or bad, doesn't matter. When Star Wars was back in the movie theater in 2015, it was that was a high. Yeah. Okay. So Jon Favreau says 2 years ago in this interview, the story unfolded as I wrote it. The Mandalorian inherits a great deal from existing Star Wars stories, and then I write. That context is always a consideration. It became clear within the established continuity, certain things were likely to happen. We have a tremendous amount of freedom afforded to us because of the gap in between the films. Dave Filoni and I are in constant discussion regarding how each story is impacted by and would impact existing Star Wars material. A lot of people read that back then 2 years ago and said, they're still marching right to the sequels. But you could read that and be like, if you take that quote and you couple it with when Favreau talked about the water cooler. Do you guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The water cooler talk? That's the greatest thing I've ever heard a producer say, where he talks about it's your job to make sure the fans are happy. That's why you have the position that you have. He knows the majority. I'm not speaking for all Star Wars fans. There's 358 people here. Are you here because you're happy right now? No. You're here because the thumbnail says Kathy Kennedy's bouncing. You're not happy. You know, and maybe I'm setting myself up. I know there's going to be people in the chat that are like, dang, coach, come on. You know, I am still holding out some hope that this team, once the story group, once Kathy's gone, once all these people are gone, that Favreau and Filoni can get this thing fixed and give everybody a Star Wars. Everybody's. You know what I mean. The majority of Star Wars fans, the people like me that grew up with this, and it was the most important fandom, the most important franchise of my life. There are other things that I have loved in my lifetime. The Boston Celtics, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all of it pales to Star Wars. Nothing even comes close to my love of Star Wars. And it's sick. Star Wars is in a bad place, and they know it. I don't care how much money, that the sequel trilogy made. We're still in that whole world of you could slap Star Wars on something and it will still sell. But how long is that going to last?
Well, and also, Coach, I mean, for me personally, when I've always had, and most recently still have, an issue with the story group. In other words, what do we think the story group has ruined lately? Assuming they're responsible for the story that was told in the sequels. Let's just put that out there, right? What do we think the story group has had responsibility for contributing to between then and now? Do we think is it the Kenobi story? Because for all intents and purposes, they brought in somebody new to ruin that, right? Is it Book of Boba Fett? Because for everyone but Ghost Rider, Jon Favreau was responsible for that, right? Was it Andor? But no, they didn't. What has the story group been contributing to lately? Is it just the High Republic? Right. This is where I'm saying I have a hard time personally understanding what the exit of the story group means at this point, because I don't know what they're involved with. For all we know, the story group has been helping to write The Mandalorian. I don't freaking know. Right. But I think we characterize the story group by Pablo Hidalgo's online presence during, Mando 3 and Mando 2 and Don't Share Your Feelings and some of this other stuff, right? I think that's become synonymous with the story group being awful. To me, that was a jerk saying stupid things online, right? I don't know.
What about Justina Ireland though? Like,
that's what I mean. That's High Republic, right? And so I don't, are they busy ruining the Acolyte? Right. That's what I'm saying. You're right. I'm trying to figure out, what does the story group exit really mean for what we're getting from Star Wars content? I personally don't get it.
Well, and the story group, it's funny you say that. So this is kind of the latest here. Cameron Pasha, dropped his bomb about the story group exit, Kathy's exit, and all that. So Pablo Hidalgo, here's his response on Twitter. It's that time again, he says. Whoop. I did not mean to do that.
Oh.
It's that time again. Golly. All right. It's that time again. I'm not going to click anything. And it's the Marty McFly. Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic. And then WDW Pro, friend of our channel, responds to Hidalgo. No, we're analyzing a report from someone not working for us who claims you and 75% of the Lucasfilm story group will be gone once Kennedy transitions out. The individual making the report had the world exclusive leak on Disney's recent hiring freeze, thus our consideration. Hope all is well.
This is what generated his how many people are in the story group poll, right? Because I didn't see the context. I just saw him put the poll up. I was like, that's kind of weird. Now I get why he put the poll up, right? Sorry, X-Wing, I cut you off, but
no, you're good.
Pablo Hidalgo responded and said, "You're just asking questions is all." I don't even really know what that means, but okay. I'm not a fan of Pablo. Just at all.
He doesn't have an inside voice, does he? Right.
No.
I mean, again, the interactions that he's had online has been supremely damaging to the brand. And that's, to me, it's like, how is it that one person's online presence can be that damaging to a brand and still they didn't take his account? I mean,
I'll tell you exactly why, Risman. It's because they don't engage with fans. They don't engage with anybody like us. They don't sit down and have a conversation with anybody like us. They don't have any interest in doing anything like that. I mean, look, you can go back. This was just something on another stream a minute ago when they were talking about how they were going to make Galaxy's Edge. And they said, do we really want to make Star Wars as how the 50-somethings are going to remember it? Tatooine. And it's like, man, it's not just 50-year-old people. Like, this is why you're out of touch, is because you need to realize that there is a large concentration of younger fans who know Star Wars apparently better than you do. And they love the original trilogy. They love the prequels. They love George Lucas Star Wars. And if you believe that the only people that are relevant to your brand are the young teen somethings that are going to make you the most money, you are completely incorrect. And now you're reaping what you sow.
Yep, I'm with you. Let's go through these super chats and we'll continue this.
Yeah. Way back, right? We have
a lot of this is going to be on point. Scott Westbrook with a $5 super chat. He says, "Keep it up." Thank you very much, Scott. If you don't mind, help me out highlighting those.
Yeah.
I know you're scrolling to it. Skits 3D has joined our member family. Welcome to the family, Skits. Donna Hergenrether with a $10 super chat. "I hope this is what happens. But for once, I agree 100% with Matt Risman. It would be nice, but maybe these leaks are a way of finding leakers. It is something that Elon Musk does. Hi, X-Wing."
Hi.
Thank you, Donna, for sending that in. I hope you and Matt are wrong.
Seeding is a real thing, dude. Seeding, you do that in corporate to try to weed out moles, basically. So I hope not. That's why I said, Risman, when you were like, "Oh, I interrupted you," I said WDW. I was like, don't play your hand like that. Don't let them know. You know, I don't want anybody getting sniffed out.
Debbie Young with $9.99. She says, "That is why The World Between Worlds is the best option. The people who love the sequels will still have them, and those that want to leave the sequels behind will get to have that choice." And I know a lot of people are like anti, multiple.
I'm with Mama Bear and I love it, but it's not how they're going to use World Between Worlds, right? This is why I think the Ahsoka series is fraught with peril, not because I think Filoni is writing a bad story, right? But I think he's writing a story. Everyone has their opinion of what story he should be writing as a Rebels sequel. And I think the story he's writing is going to be surprising to some. And I think his utilization of World Between Worlds, and you've covered it on another stream, right? In more of a what if fashion. I don't think that's what some folks want him to do with that. But if you look back to some of his videos and some of his past content, he has been very consistent saying, "I'm not using this as a multiverse. I'm not using this as a retcon agent," right? The World Between Worlds exists to help articulate a story in a slightly different way. And that's why I'm like, I hope Ahsoka is pleasing, because I think it's going to be an interesting story.
He has said things like that though, Matt, but that still doesn't mean it's not going to happen or it won't happen. It could happen one day.
It is Filoni, and he likes to retcon things. Sometimes he retcons himself, not often. Right.
Here's the thing, like, Jon Favreau is above him, is he not?
No, Jon Favreau is actually not a Lucasfilm employee, right? Jon Favreau is basically a contractor, right? He's someone that he brings
in. Filoni is a executive now.
Executive, creative director.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So
gonna be interesting. Oh my gosh. Dave Filoni, please come on by. You're welcome onto the show. Let us talk some sense into you on how to save this franchise before you kill it. So, because you're going to. when we start seeing Praetorian guards walk around and Snoke walk around, people, half the people are checking out and they're not coming back.
Well, just to be clear, right? Snoke is not confirmed. Red suited Mandalorians that seem to be associated with Gideon in some way is speculated, right? But up to this point, no one has said Snoke's making an appearance in Mando 3. Babu Frick or Babu Frick's family seems to be
The
a shoo-in.
species or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
That's
so
Babu, man.
I don't want to sound the Snoke for folks who don't want to see Snoke in the Mandalorian. I don't want to sound the alarm bells yet, but I think it's likely.
The bottom line is, and this is the thing I'll always come back to when people say they're going to retcon or there's going to be a different timeline or things are going to change drastically to try to, appease us as fans. Go to Disney World, go to Disneyland. They're not getting rid of Galaxy's Edge. They're not going to get rid of the Halcyon. They may be able to rebrand the Halcyon and stuff like that and make it a little bit more inclusive. But the bottom line is there's a Millennium Falcon sitting smack dab in the middle of that land, and it's got a square radar dish. So tell me they're going to get rid of the sequels.
Well, that radar dish is pretty easy to fix, I would imagine.
Well, actually, to be fair, yeah.
The radar dish is the least of the problems, right? When you
big problem
get on Smuggler's Run, the story that it's themed around is a Solo movie adjacent story.
So that is such a shame.
I love Solo.
They're like,
I know
well,
you do. That's how he got his last name.
We can't make any changes at Disney World or Disneyland, so we're just going to let this franchise continue to die. That's terrible leadership, right?
Or they'll just try to rectify it the best way they can, and when it doesn't work, they're going to say, "You'll never be happy. It doesn't matter what we do. You'll never be happy."
Well, maybe they're right about that.
Galaxy's Edge to me is a bit of an easy fix, actually, right? Because I
would agree.
When you're in the land, it's Doug Chang's folks did a really good job, in my opinion, with the way it looks. Right. And yes, they chose it to be Batuu, and they did some things that were specific to that story, but just as easily it could become any other place, right? That in any other time period, whether that's the Mando time period or the original trilogy or what have you.
Well, it's both. Remember, Anakin and Vader were at Black Spire Outpost in a book. They've been there. You're right.
They could even leave it as Black Spire Outpost, right? But it's generically specific enough where if they just took away Kylo Ren and the First Order troopers that are wandering around and Rey and some of the rest of it and infused something else, it's quite fixable, right? It amounts to them understanding and saying it needs to be fixed first, and I don't think we're there yet. I just don't.
Can I just say one more thing, and then I'm sorry, Coach, I'll let you go, but I have to yell at the guy in the chat really quick. Junkman!
Oh, no.
It's not an EBN stream if I don't get a fight with Junkman in the chat.
Look, Junkman just said the dumbest thing I've read today.
Look, no, you know what?
I love him, but God.
It's not, though, and I'll tell you why. This is what we're talking about, Junkman, and all the love to you. I'm still waiting on my AT-AT, by the way. But, Junkman, so you're saying it's hotter than ever right now. You could be right in a certain way. You could be right that maybe more people are watching it or there's more gross viewership than ever and it's making money. Great. That's never been my argument, and I don't want to speak for you guys. I'm not fighting for viewership. I'm fighting for the soul and the heart of what Star Wars is. The reason why we watch the content, to make content that I can enjoy, that has soul and has heart, and it feels vapid to me right now. And so it may be hotter than ever, and it may be making a bunch of money, but it doesn't have the heart.
When I was my entire life, my generation, so many of us liked Star Wars. Like me and Nick became friends because of Star Wars. I teach 14-year-olds. None of them know a thing. None of them watch. None of them care. So as time goes on and our generation continues to age and get older, and the younger generations aren't watching and aren't caring, it's a decline. Like it's happening. You're not doing anything. And what's really funny about that is that also tells me that their whole little SJW pandering and things like that haven't worked, because I'm going to say it the way that it is. Sorry if you disagree. Not really. The younger generation are more on the left side of the aisle because of their
social media.
For whatever reason. I'm not even going to say that, but they are by far to the left. You could say it's because of parents or whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter. But so the wokeism of Lucasfilm has not worked. It's not work. They're not telling great stories. That's what kids want to see. I mean, they'll go watch some MCU. They'll go watch what was that? I Love You 3000. What was that movie? I
Love You 3000.
Infinity War, the second one.
Endgame.
Whatever. Endgame. Thank you.
That's kind of where I'm at, Coach. It's like wokeism's like not even a big plaguing issue for me in Star Wars. Really, it's the stories that should be being told. That's the discussion I want to be having.
I think the High Republic content, right, was the content they were deploying here over the last little while that was supposed to be attractive to bringing in new fans, right? To bringing in young people, and some of the rest of it. I know X-Wing's tried a little bit. Some other folks have too. I haven't read any of it, not because I have a preconceived notion that it wasn't going to be good, but just because they didn't do a good job of setting up the stories to interest me, right? And that's why I don't know. It's difficult, right? What are they doing to attract new fans right now? I don't know.
Well, and it doesn't help when you have people like Justina Ireland on Twitter yelling at people or saying stupid things like "let's clap for diversity in dinosaurs." You're not going to sell people on that. You know what I mean? And I gave it a fair shake. I read some High Republic. I don't want to be that guy that says #not my Star Wars, but it was not.
It sounds to me, X-Wing, that everything that we opened the show with, though, everything that Cameron Pasha reported, that when Kathy leaves, they're getting rid of 75% of their agenda-driven storytelling, and all of the people that have been basically killing this franchise. And it's exactly Drunk 3PO's here. Like, we looked at his tweets earlier, and he's right. Let's go back and look at his tweet again. He could just come on and say it, but
he keeps inviting other people to the Star Cruiser. I'm starting to get angry.
Lucasfilm Disney has turned off so many people from Star Wars, it's becoming a joke of a franchise. It might be so far gone, not even new management can save it. A remake of A New Hope will probably happen, and that will finally be the last heartbeat of an IP already in a coma.
That'd be a last straw for me. A remake of A New Hope would be a last straw.
I still personally don't see it happening. I really don't. Especially if some of these other things that Doomcock and other folks, Cameron and other people are reporting on, I see it as less and less of a possibility. But even if that wasn't happening, I don't see that as their play, right? Because if that's their play, to me it even says more that they've failed, right? They're going to continue to try and play on with their own stuff that's new and try and attract people with that, I think, and then keep going, right? But to cannibalize the original trilogy and to recast it and to do things with it, they're working against themselves. They're not that stupid.
This is just the craziest time.
It's a strong statement, Risman.
I
it doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make business sense. Sorry.
Well done.
Yeah.
It's okay. This is just a crazy time for me because you said apathy earlier. I was at a place where I was like, you know what? Star Wars is what it is. They're heading right to the sequels. Whatever. I'm going to watch it I'll talk about it. I'll crap on it. That's what we'll do. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe we'll like it. Probably won't. We'll just see. We'll just see. We've done videos. I don't even remember what they were, what the gist of them were. Where confirmation that the retcon's not happening, and all these things and quotes that people said, and all this speculative stuff. And here I am, because this week, like, golly, it's kind of like that Carlitos Way, where every time I get out, they pull me back in. Yeah. That's how I feel right now. I feel ready for battle again. I feel ready for, like, you're telling me there's a chance, and here I am believing it.
I've been working on my chainmail. I'm getting ready.
And dude, it's like, and if it doesn't happen,
I'm going to war.
I'm like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, man. It has. It's been an absolutely insane year. A lot of people coin this as the year of Star Wars. This is when we're gonna get back into it. This is gonna be our year. And 2022 kind of passed with I don't even know what the word is. There was anger, and then there was apathy. That seems to be essentially what happened. There was anger and apathy, and it makes it really tough to make content and get stoked and try to get on and talk to people. And then beyond that, if you have a problem with it, you are relentlessly attacked by people for not believing the way you do.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Screw them. And that's the thing. Like, when the blood gets boiling, when we're talking about things like this, man, I mean, people get passionate about this now. So you're telling me there's a hope that Star Wars can be redeemed or whatever, and see, I get, like, how many times have you guys heard something like, first comments bragging on Chapter 16 of Mandalorian? And it's like, I make a highlight video of Luke Skywalker or whatever, and all these people are like, "Oh, it's so great, so great." And then this one guy down here still leads right to the sequels every time, because it's true. Yeah. Because it's true.
All right, let's keep going with this. Let's finish the super chat. So
okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll shut up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So Darth Orlana, I kept trying to highlight it. Darth Orlana was just stopping by to say hello. So hello, Darth Orlana. I hope you're still here. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Then we had Cardinal Sin supporting with a super sticker.
Thank you, Cardinal.
You,
appreciate that, my friend.
If I've missed anyone, guys, in the chat, please forgive me. But I think we've got a couple of more. My goodness, the chat has been so active tonight.
Thank you, chat.
Fans are passionate, baby. We love seeing you here, guys.
Yeah.
Jonas J. Campbell said,
"Look at that. You rang. Yep.
What's up, Jonas?
You guys are doing great. Thank you."
Here we got Just Nova 1138. I'm over Disney Star Wars. I think too much has already been invested in the sequels. With or without the story group, Disney isn't going to put more money down to make any corrections or retcon. OG all the way. What do y'all think? I mean,
I'm not talking. I thought we were getting through these.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Jedi Master Lord.
No, I'm. Let's. We got to talk about the super chats.
I'm down.
So, I agree with all of it. Disney is going to put more money down to make any corrections or retcon. OG all the way. I'm over Disney Star Wars until they drastically improve. I'm still going to watch. I like this last episode of Bad Batch.
You know why?
Yeah, because it had no Bad Batch. Well, unless you count Crosshair as a member of the Bad Batch, right? It had no Bad
It was the Clone Wars. It was Phase 2 troopers, AATs. It was all Clone Wars. It was all Clone Wars. That's all it was. It was right back to the prequel trilogy.
I agree.
It was clones fighting B1 battle droids. That's why everybody liked it. Commander Cody.
That's the thing, man. They're capable of giving us good Star Wars. We got to keep talking. We got to keep ringing the bell and letting people know. I mean,
fighting a good fight.
Yep.
Somebody's got to do it, man.
It is what it is. You know, they can call me alt-right and everything else they want to, like whatever. You know, all I want is good Star Wars. None of that other stuff matters. All right. Well, thank you, Just Nova. Jedi Master Lawrence, there was 10 member gifts from the block stream. Oh, thank you,
Nice,
Jedi Master
man.
Lawrence. Thank you for doing that. We have had 16 new members this stream alone, so we really appreciate it. Thank you. Go ahead, Matt.
Lucas Garrett, $10. Thank you for the stream, guys. Until there is a house cleaning from top to bottom, the Star Wars franchise is stuck. If I could have a dime for every time KK was on her way out, I could retire.
Yeah, Matt. What's his name? Zero. What's
Mike,
his name?
Mike Zero.
Mike Zero.
Yeah.
He's fired her 87 times by now. Like, you know.
Brie Larson is very much back in Star Wars, bro. Enough.
Well, in all deference to Mike Zero, right? You know, Doomcock, Basha. There has been a continuing discussion about KK's ouster, right? And the fact that she's on her last leg and she's not going to get renewed. And she's, you know, some folks say, well, you know, you say it long enough, when it actually happens, then you can claim you're right? And so, you know, like I said to you earlier on the phone, right, Coach, I don't believe any of these folks are misrepresenting what they believe or what they've heard.
Right.
You know, you have to go back to who they're hearing it from, what was going on circumstantially then, what else might have changed, right? So somebody told them something and things changed and the timeline extended and COVID happened and so many things have gone on, right? So there is a little bit of that sky is falling phenomenon, right? That says, is this really the time? For me personally, I've always kind of thought it makes sense for her to retire once Indy 5 is done, right? And Indy 5 got bounced around and different things have happened. So this latest one that says she's going to retire, you know, June-ish or whatever, I was like, well, it kind of makes sense, right?
Makes
so
sense
I
to
don't,
me.
yeah.
And
Yes,
it's not,
but-
and it's not a sensationalized firing. That's the thing, is and a lot of people like to play that up. It's like, oh, they're clearing house. We're finally getting what we're need. Like Kathleen Kennedy's getting a boot out the door and the story group's going with them. That's not how it works in the corporate world. It's just not. Even so, the biggest surprise for me was seeing Bob Chapek gone in the middle of the night. That was very surprising. And that is definitely the exception and not the rule. So, I've said this before on other live streams. I think the Kathleen Kennedy thing is going to be a very quiet, very peaceful transfer. And then the rest of the releases will be very quiet. Very quiet.
You know who was more surprised about Bob Chapek's ouster than you were, X-Wing? That was Bob Chapek himself.
I'm sure he was very surprised.
I don't think he saw that coming either, right? So
Thank you, Lucas, for sending that in, man.
all right, let's go on to the next.
I agree, and I agree with him. Like, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Matt.
Chris has got us for $4.99. Easiest thing to do was make Heir to the Empire trilogy and go from there. One thing I thought would have been cool was a Luke Leia lightsaber training scene.
I mean, well, we got that. Probably not what I would have wanted, but we got it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it almost seemed like an afterthought, right?
Like 4 seconds, and they're like, okay.
But in regards for me, the Heir to the Empire trilogy and all that, this is why I have concerns for Ahsoka, right? Because they seem to be cherry picking different themes from some of the Thrawn backstory and spinning it in a way or rewriting it in a way that appears to be just slightly different enough so they don't have to credit. This is such a horrible thing for me to say, right? But it seems to be just different enough so they don't have to credit and pay royalties and do things to represent what came before, as opposed to just adapting that story. And that's a tough one, right? I didn't have a huge problem with Thrawn, the Rebels Thrawn. I didn't have a huge problem with that. I mean, I thought that was fine, right? But for a lot of folks, they want to see the Zahn Thrawn, and they want to see some of that story that they told and different things now that I think we're absolutely not getting in Ahsoka. So do people see what we're getting in Ahsoka as an insult as a result? That's why I'm concerned for that series.
I mean, it has the highest ceiling of all shows to me. Like, an Ahsoka show should be great. And I don't know what that Jumpman's talking about because Ahsoka.
Do you know what you remind me of right now, Coach? Not the second part of your statement there, but
okay, good.
The first part. man,
What?
man, a Kenobi show? That's going to be great. How do you mess that up? I mean, Kenobi in the desert, Qui-Gon Jinn. What, this
Did I say that? I never said that.
No. I'm saying
Oh,
you
no,
remind
he's
me of me.
I got you.
You know? How do you mess that
I
up?
said it
And
about Boba Fett.
It's Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan? This is going to be amazing. Wow.
Thank you, Chris, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Next one is Debbie Young. Believe it or not, when I was on the Falcon sitting in Han Solo's chair, I really didn't give a crap about the radar dish being round or square. I was in the OT movies driving the Falcon.
I'm with you, Debbie. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a wonderful sentiment. Not to be Debbie Downer again on this, but she wasn't in the OT driving the Falcon, right? She was in Solo driving the Falcon, right? The story they're telling about coaxium and all the rest of it. To me, the most redeeming part of that story is it's Hondo Naka, talking to you, and you see such a great animatronic when it's working. That as you're in the queue and all that. So I mean, I think for me, the most redeeming part of it is Hondo, right? But it isn't there. You have a better opportunity of seeing an OT related story by flying Star Tours and hoping you don't get the stitched together scenes from the sequels, right? That's the only place you're going to get it, from an attraction in Disney.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, thank you, Debbie, for sending that in as well.
Mattuine, $5. No Omega in this week's Bad Batch. No Nick in tonight's EBN. Coincidence.
Oh, Nick.
I'm going to tell you, I created like the best show tonight, anticipating Nick being here with me, and we were going to do the how much are you like Omega quiz and everything, and then he calls me 45 minutes before and says he can't make it. So we can still do all that here in a few minutes, but I hate that Nick's not here.
No,
I'm 10%, by the way.
I was sitting at dinner and Coach called me. He's like, Nick can't make it. I was like, what about the Omega thing?
I know. We were so excited about that.
That's it. Thank you for that, Matt. Very funny.
While you're going through the super chats, I want to ask the chat to do this real quick. Just if you have no hope, throw up a 1, and if you have hope for the future of Star Wars, throw up a 2. I'm just curious. I want to see them roll in.
Scott Edwards for $5. You think Thrawn will be the overarching big bad of the Mandoverse? Will Han, Luke, and Leia join Ahsoka, Hera, and Sabine and Ezra in fighting him?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. When we talked to Zahn and we asked him if he was consulted, and they were like, no, they basically just kind of said thank you for everything you did, give you a pat on the head and go the other direction. It's very reminiscent of what happened when they fired the actual Tolkien historian on Rings of Power. It reminds me of that a lot. They don't have interest in being truthful to the source material. It's much more, let's tell the story that we want to tell. So, man, could he be the big bad? Yeah. Is it going to be the Thrawn that we know? Nope.
How do you know that?
Why wouldn't they want to consult Zahn?
Do you feel like they have to consult Zahn for it to be the Thrawn that you know, though?
Yes.
They could read the books too. They have.
They could read the books for sure.
But in regards to them consulting or not consulting Zahn, in that same conversation, Zahn said, "But I believe Filoni's got this." Right? He said, "I believe Filoni can very competently represent and write."
What about the Thrawn that you got in Rebels? How did you feel? You buying it or selling it?
Selling it.
I'm buying it. Right.
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. And if we get Rebels Thrawn, fine. That's fine.
That's the only Thrawn we're gonna. This is why it's so interesting to me that this is even a conversation. The Thrawn we got in Rebels is Filoni's Thrawn.
That's how I see it.
It's Filoni's Thrawn. It's not Zahn's Thrawn.
Is to me not even a conversation. It's gonna be the same Thrawn.
But you have to remember, I mean, this is much the same as the sequel trilogy. There was a villain, right, in the original trilogy. It was Emperor Palpatine. And for some of us, when Star Wars ended, we had to find a new trilogy, and we got our new trilogy, right? So when you take that and then adapt it, and it's like, well, it's this person's Thrawn. It's like saying, well, it's this person's Palpatine. You know, it's the sequel's Palpatine. It's Jon Favreau's Palpatine. For me, I don't like it. Like, why can you not just create the character that was given? Why do they have to be different? It's already beloved.
For some of us, he was beloved in Rebels, right? So I think it comes from where you entered into the Thrawn equation, I think, and whether or not it is or isn't palatable in what we're going to get, right? For me, I think Ezra is the bigger conversation in this story, right? Put Thrawn to the side for a second. People have a lot of opinions on what happened with Ezra, right? Once they ended up into the new space, right? Did they stay together? Did they not? You know, and there is some scuttlebutt out there that says Ezra's getting the Luke and Kenobi treatment, if you understand what I mean from a Disney perspective, right? The oh no, I can't do this anymore. I'm not a Jedi. This is not for me, right? You know, I'm off here doing my own thing, and some of the rest of that, right? And so there seems to be a certain part of the story that might be Ahsoka trying to reconnect with Ezra, not because she realizes that he might have strayed away or done some other things, right? But just because she wants to find him, and that's what's going to help him come back. And so maybe they do then end up all fighting Thrawn together. You know, I don't know. To me, it's more interesting to think, are Gideon and Thrawn on the same page, right? Are they buddies, or are they antagonistic? Right? You know, how does all that work together and some of the rest of it? I think that's an interesting story. But this is where I think people are entering into this series with a lot of preconceived notions, whether it's Legends Thrawn content, whether it's what they think happened with Ezra after Rebels, whether they, you know, what's all the motivation. And then again, you know, there seems to be a part of the story that somehow Thrawn's sending folks out to get Ahsoka. Right, you know, so it's a tough one for me because a lot of people are really banking a lot on Ahsoka's series. I really hope that we don't get a full of Filoni story, right? I hope it delivers.
My last bastion, dude. That's all I have left. That's the only untouched thing, other than, you know, Old Republic and all that stuff. But
all right. So Scott Edwards, thank you for that. That was a good one. Let's keep going. My gracious, they just keep coming in. Let me find the next one here. We've got this one from Skits 3D for $5. I am praying for competent stormtroopers actually trying to hit something. Well, that seems oxymoronic to me, right? Is competent stormtroopers?
Competence, that's like jumbo shrimp.
Does that work well? But yeah. You know what? I have to say the stormtroopers have seen the most competence so far in the Bad Batch, right? Maybe the earlier stormtrooper. Because
they're still clones.
Well, no, they're bringing in some real stormtroopers since then, right? So we'll see. But thanks, Skits, for the $5. Appreciate it.
This is for Skits 3D, right here. Loading.
What is it doing?
Littering and.
Oh, there you go. The
oh God.
Every now and again on my Twitter feed shows me a somebody's store that's selling shirts, right? And one of the shirts that they're selling, it's a stormtrooper and a urinal trying to go to the bathroom, and the stream is just missing the urinal. I just think that's such a
send me the link for that. I need that yesterday.
I think that's such a great shirt. But Acquiettes for $10. The wokists in Hollywood are terrified of Disney letting Star Wars be about Star Wars because it would prove that you can gut the woke writers and plot and IP can still be salvaged and profitable.
Yep.
That's what they need. It's easy.
That would be a big admission of guilt or wrongdoing, which is something that will never occur.
I didn't mention this earlier because I think this is like borderline ludicrous. I know some people in the chat know about this, but the conversation on Doomcock's stream turned to George Lucas potentially maybe buying Star Wars back even cheaper than what he sold it for. And I'm like,
that'd be hilarious, but nope.
No, that's
buying it back on a discount. I don't think so.
Yeah, not gonna happen. It's worth more now than it was.
But along with that, right? I know there's the hashtag sell Star Wars. We see that, with some frequency in some of our chat streams, right? I also don't think there's any motivation for Disney to sell Star Wars, right? Because from their standpoint, it's making money.
Sure.
Right. So that's the other. So not only do I not think George Lucas is buying it back, I don't think they're selling it.
They'll make a ton of money in Star Wars in 2023. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Will all the shows be great? I hope so. But even if they're marginal, they're still going to make a lot of money because what else are people watching?
Mark Hamill said it himself. It doesn't have to be good.
Yep.
Just got to put butts in seats.
Yep. Debbie Young for $5. Clone Wars shows retcon is possible with the father, daughter, and son trilogy.
I'm going to have to go back and rewatch those.
It's pretty wild.
It's been, I've seen them multiple times, but it's been a few years.
Yeah.
I need to go back and revisit. Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, I'm with you. That Mortis arc, right? I mean, it's so interesting. And some folks have said, are they going to bring that into Ahsoka somehow? Are we going to, is something going to happen there? I'm like, I don't think so. It seems like there's a lot there they have to talk about, right? Or they have to fill in a lot of blanks with that. I think the owl will be a part of it, right? But I don't know that they're going to go back and explain this tremendously. Maybe I'm wrong. I think we have a better chance of seeing the Bendu, right, than we do, going back for the Mortis arc, personally.
Yep, we'll keep on rolling, brother.
All right. Our buddy Thrawn, $10. Counterpoints. The last few episodes of Mando were great. Tales was good. Visions was great. Some people would say Visions was the number one series.
Oh, God.
Number one series.
CBR.com.
No, that was CW. That was Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, yeah.
Saying number one series ever.
What did they smoke before they wrote that?
I was so bad. The episodes of Boba that were Mando focused were great. Andor was great for many. There is still hope.
I agree with all of his points.
And when we wouldn't say that Andor, I think, again, Andor was a story that was written exactly the way Tony Gilroy intended to write it. I don't think he was externally influenced to do anything in that series, despite X-Wing's, dislike of the boots, and there was the AK-47 and some things that he probably had no oversight in at all, right? That got peppered in there, that brought some people out of it a little bit. I think the story was, and even he in the interview was like, we didn't have adult supervision, right? I just did what I was gonna do. And I think if we can do more of that, it's better. Personally,
you got a star-studded chat right now. Do you see what's going on? You got Mexican.
I can't because
here,
I'm trying to get the highlights. So I'm not looking.
John Graber, the space jockey's in here. You got an all-star cast rolling around in the.
Here we go. The next one. Ted's Nerd World for $5. Only 4 years until Star Wars 50th anniversary. What do you think they will do to prepare for that?
Ooh.
Well, we're finally getting a holiday special documentary. I'm excited for that.
I can't wait. I can't. Weird Al's going to be in it.
Yeah,
Coach
Weird Al and
was not-
Seth Green.
He was not excited when I sent that to him. Coach was like,
I'm very excited.
really?" I'm not excited at all.
Oh, yeah.
50th anniversary. Wow. That's your last. I mean, that might be the last chance for them to honor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Because the original cast, the ones that are still alive, they're not going to live past that much, not long.
You're not making a 75th anniversary.
No,
you're not
no.
making it. So
You'll make it, but they won't be there.
yeah.
Hard to believe it's coming up on 50, right? 4 years. Goes by like that, right? 50th years. Wow.
They would be very wise to spend some time paying some homage, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if we're celebrating 1977, then it's got to be about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean 1977.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Ted's Nerd World.
Thank you, Ted.
King's Advisors for $10. Love getting back into listening and talking Star Wars. Had some of the super chats ready for X-Wing last night, but messed up his schedule, so EPN gets it.
Yeah.
Ritzman, which is your favorite Lego set? A great question. So I think, and you can't ever see it because it's behind the chair head, right? But I really think the Mos Eisley Cantina Master Builders set is my favorite, right? Even as much as I enjoyed the Devastator and building it up, I still think the Mos Eisley Cantina is probably my favorite. Just great with all the minifigs and everything they did. Love to display it. Like I say, you can't. You can't see it, but it's there next to. You can see Grievous doing his thing. It's all behind me. But really do love that set. So King's Advisors.
Thank you, Kings.
Thanks so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for bringing X-Wings money to EBN. I'm sure he's thrilled.
We appreciate it.
I really appreciate that. Skits 3D again for $2. Why didn't they use Black Chrysanthemum in Kenobi?
It made sense.
Yeah, he's there. I mean, he's in that era. I'm with you.
That's how he got his scar.
Well, and there's, that goes to why did they tell us the story they told us in Kenobi, right? I think they go hand in hand, right?
The Plug Eye story would have been so much better. The Plug Eye story, everything that would have been so much better. But no, we got freaking. Never mind. I'm not gonna go.
Well, as bad as it was, I'm really hoping we get a Book of Boba Fett season 2.
I hope so too. Only if they let Tim kick ass, right?
Yeah.
Let him be his best version of Boba, right?
Yep.
Or else I'd be perfectly happy if he gives us that version of Boba in Mando 3, because I do think there's an opportunity for us to be back to our favorite place, Tatooine, and have Boba Fett participating in a meaningful way in Mando 3.
Yeah, he needs some redemption.
Absolutely. And I mean, if they want to do a Book of Boba Fett too, and just have that going on, I'll certainly watch it. He's a treasure, right? And I love Ming-Na as Fennec Shand too, by the way. It's not that I have anything against her. I just really hated the story they told us in Book of Boba Fett, season 1, Not that Jon Favreau had anything to do with that, of course, but
of course not.
No.
Here we go.
So thanks, kids, for that super chat. All right, Cardinal Sin still here for $5. If they had Timothy's on screen, write the Admiral Thrawn trilogy, I would be there with bells on.
Same. I'm getting a bad echo.
You are. So am I.
Rispin, that's you.
I haven't done anything different.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next one, Coach. I'll tinker with this. You do this one.
Cardinal Sin, 1999. If they had Timothy Zahn's Admiral Thrawn trilogy and Timothy Zahn wrote the screenplay, I'd be there with bells on. Another guy said kind of the same thing. Oh, it was you. Thank you, Cardinal. Thank you.
Is that better? Are we good?
Yeah. It
All
seems
right,
like it's gone.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I just did a little refresh there. All right, let's keep going.
Deja vu without the echo.
All right.
Adam Bowman sends in a member chat. I lost any hope for Star Wars after the cluster, you know what, that was Kenobi and Boba Fett. I cannot disagree with you for that. Mr. Buttcrack Media sent in 5 Echo Base Network gift memberships. Thank you, Mr. Buttcrack. Cardinal Sin sent in a member chat. If you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative when you're old, you have no brain.
Okay.
I'm caught up.
All right. Mexican Iron Man.
Moving on.
Mexican Iron Man's here, trolling me as always. Thank you for being here for $5. Dear Lucasfilm, please recast Matt Rissman as Darth Disney Simpus.
I'll be sure to do a thumbnail with that for the next late night. I already made you an avatar.
Oh no, I'm so scared.
So with all this news about KK and the writing group and all that, what is next? What's on the horizon next? That's The Mandalorian Season 3.
It is.
So, Matt, why don't you give everybody kind of a little update about...
Do you want to, so we're all caught up on the super chats. Do you want to do the video? You want to send out a video and send out a... We haven't done any of the cutesy videos.
You're right.
So
you know what? Thank you so much for the super chats. I'm just off. We are Echo Base Network. Let me give you a good one. And, oh yeah, Star Wars. And to our new members, you'll be on the next one, updated right here. Matt, I'm going to run and get a refill. I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about...
We got the run of the show. What do you want to do?
We can do it. No, we're going to talk about this.
Excuse me. I haven't even gotten up yet.
He's still here. Let me... we're going to talk about...
And I'll do it because Coach hasn't done it. There's over 300 people in here. Hit that like button right now. Hit it.
Do it. Smash that like.
Hit a like button on there. It's awesome. We love seeing all you guys here tonight. Chat, I have been watching you guys.
Chat's on fire. Tonight.
Y'all are hilarious, man.
On fire. On fire. So the next thing on the show agenda is just talking about Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. So it's been confirmed now through multiple official sources that we're getting another trailer for Mando 3. And that it's happening on Monday during the wild card game? There's the whatever game.
Monday Night Football, yeah.
Monday Night
so it'll be the primetime slot, so probably somewhere around 5 o'clock. I actually don't remember. The only one I'm thinking about tomorrow is the Dolphins game. I can't wait to see
it's
it.
8. So the game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Yeah. So 5 o'clock.
So you do the math in regards to it's supposed to come at halftime. Right, and the rumor is on this particular trailer that we're going to get to see Christopher Lloyd in whatever character he's playing. That's been the going rumor about this remaining trailer.
You know what else is really cool, Rissman? If you look at the picture, they were faithful to fans because the Mando's bent antenna is the same for every single Mando figure I have of any Mandalorian. All of their antennas are bent, and they look stupid. So there you go.
There you go.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me a couple years ago when during the Super Bowl or something, we had a new Star Wars commercial that everybody was waiting. It was like a teaser or something. I don't remember what it was for, and somebody put a meme out and it said, "I felt a great disturbance in the force. It was as if millions of nerds were forced to watch football for the first time in their lives."
I love football.
I can't stand it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. What they call you coach? Yeah, I coached basketball.
I was gonna say you weren't you wasn't like you're a football.
Me and Drunk 3PO coached basketball. Get it right.
So anyway, so be watching for it on Monday. Again, football fans or not, I'm sure they'll drop it on. We'll see it on Twitter and YouTube and all those places. But this coming Monday, look for a new Mando 3 trailer. Very exciting.
Stoked to learn more.
Why does
about
everybody
Babu
say the
Frick.
stream's over? Like,
because you played the tune and then you like disappeared, and they were like, "Oh, okay, it's over."
Yeah, people are like, "Where is Nick? And why did Coach leave?" Right? I was like, "Boy, talk about
Dang.
it. Talk about not feeling the love." Right? It's like, jeez, Louise. All right, Bad Batch season 3 thoughts. Bad Batch episode 3 thoughts is next. Coach.
I thought it was as good as any episode of Bad Batch that we've gotten.
It's the second best episode of Bad Batch we've ever gotten.
So we're pretty close there.
Yeah, I like the first episode of the first season when we got cutbacks to the prequels and it expands on kind of Order 66 and you know, Palpatine's speech and stuff like that. Loved it. Again, I think Bad Batch did a detriment to themselves with this episode because everybody's super pumped on it and it's basically just the Clone Wars.
Isn't it funny? Like the best episode of Bad Batch so far, after the one that you just mentioned, the season premiere or the series premiere, didn't have the Bad Batch in it.
Not a single.
Does that make you think of anything else?
Not even a
Book of
little
Boba
Omega.
Fett.
I don't even
Book
hate
of Boba
Omega.
Fett, maybe.
Well, but the interesting thing for me so far about Bad Batch season 2, and after reading a lot of the interviews with the creatives behind it, they seem to be, in addition to the whole the A-Team in space, my 4 dads, here we are going on a mission again, right? What they're doing, what they seem to be doing is telling two kind of related storylines, right? Number one, what happened with the separatist worlds after
post-war
the Clone Wars, and what about those folks, right? And we've seen it in a couple episodes so far, and they're like, well, we were our own thing when we became separatists, right? Just like other planets became a part of the Republic, they became a part of the Confederacy, right? So seeing that story is interesting. And then obviously I think the rest of the conversation, and again, we've seen it a lot in what they've been telling us, is the underlying clone arc, right? What happens with the clones?
Right.
Where are they going? How do they get there?
They're playing at the Clone Rebellion right now.
Well, I mean, I don't remember which clone it was. Maybe it was Cody, but they're foreshadowing something's going to happen.
Yeah. He says it to Crosshair at the wall when he says, what the difference between us and battle droids is we make decisions and then we have to live with them. And then they're like, oh, by the way, Cody's AWOL. You're like, oh, there you go.
Well, and I think the reason why Cody requested Crosshair and they had some of those conversations is I think Cody fully intended to take Crosshair with him, right? If Crosshair was into it, and clearly he wasn't into it, right? So whether or not we actually see a clone rebellion or whether or not we just see Rampart finally saying, you know what, we're done with this, and there's some sort of a genocidal type event, right, that happens, I'm not sure. But I found that part of the story so far, it's only 3 episodes, right, to be very interesting, right? I think the problem we're going to have with the series here in the near term is, by a lot of the online chatter and the folks who have seen the story, seen the episodes, the first 14 episodes, a lot of people have said the 4th episode is one of the worst ones. 5 and 6 are a little bit fillery and draggy. And you have to keep going until you get to that back half of the season and it starts picking up again, right? So I just think we need to prepare ourselves for, if 3 was one of the best ones, right? We're going to go down a little bit potentially before we come back up, and just remind ourselves it's a cartoon.
I'm always very skeptical when somebody has a leak and they try to tell me that what I'm about to watch is great or not any good. Because it's kind of like, comedies. I don't watch comedies because what I think is funny, most people don't think is funny. Like, if you're trying to make me laugh, I'm not an easy laugh when I watch a movie. I'm just not. I think a lot of it's stupid. And X-Wing was talking on his stream the other day about the leakers. And I personally think, and I'm not like taking shots at them. Do your thing. Whatever that is, I don't care. But personally, I think the people who all they do are the leaks, and I'm not talking about the people that report on the leaks. I'm talking about the first people that report on leaks. I'm not talking about me or you talking about a leak. I'm talking about the
field agents. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about the people where it came from originally.
The leakers, right? Or the squirters. They like to be called. Sometimes they like to be called the squirters.
Whoa.
I know, that's just what they're called.
You're going to get us blocked again.
No. That's what they're called.
Okay. Sorry. Anyways, I feel like all of the leaks have been such a detriment to Star Wars. As I watch shows and I already know what's going to happen, it's like it's not as good as it could have been. Maybe it had some kind of negative effect on me where I didn't like it as much as I would have. And I don't know if that's true or not, and I'll never know. And I am kind of wanting to stay away from the leaks with things that I actually kind of care about. Don't give me Mandalorian or Ahsoka leaks. I don't want none of it. If it's something I don't really care about that much, then I probably won't care. If we get an episode 10 with Rey, I'm not going to care. We'll read all of the leaks, whatever. That's just where I'm at right now.
I feel like I have to push back a little bit because there have been times where you'll get a leak and you get excited. And I'm excited about the leak and I'm pumped about it. And I don't care if I know everything about that scene. I'm still excited when I do it. And this is a funny conversation I've actually had with my wife before pertaining to like going to a vacation destination or a Disney ride or anything like that. If something else is new, I will watch videos of the ride before I go on the ride. I'll read reviews. Like if I'm going to a place, I have to know everything about it before I go there. And then I still experience it as new when I'm there. So that's kind of the same way that I viewed leaks. The reason I'm not really into leaks anymore is just because I'm tired of being disappointed. And a lot of the time, the leaks are dead on. As dumb as they may sound, they've been dead on. And so, I don't want to.
I'm not into leaks anymore because of Kenobi.
Yep.
Because we knew everything. Everything. Like, there was no point in watching it.
Yeah.
Everything was out. And it's like, what has happened to Star Wars? Because I remember when leaks were coming out and you're like, man, I don't even think that's true. And like, it wasn't. And like all these people reporting on fiction, this is what I heard, or this is my theory, and I don't want to spend all my time messing around with all that. And I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know. The leaks don't bother me so much, right? I'll read them, think about them, still watch the show.
Yeah.
For me, it's always interesting which ones pan out, which ones don't, but under the context of, what I'm seeing, it's always for me, it's judged on for me what's on the screen. So on your point, yeah, we knew almost everything about Kenobi before it came out, but you still had that experience, whether you thought it was a good or a bad experience, right? You still had that experience actually watching it and how they took that stuff and visualized it. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
It's tough. Almost at this point, I'm tempering my expectations going into it, and I'm okay with that because I would rather see a leak, see what's going to happen, and be right than not look at any of the leaks and go into the show and just be absolutely railroaded from somewhere. Like, what was that? and all that hype and all that expectation and all that excitement about what's going to be. And oh my God, it could be so many things. In my brain, you know, I have a Star Wars brain. I can make up 10,000 different scenarios about Kenobi in a 5-second span. And then just to be confronted with the absolute worst possibility of those 1,000s, it's rough.
Yeah, I am with Thrawn here. If it were leaked, Luke's return would absolutely not have been as impactful on the community as it was. That's without question.
Agreed.
That video of all the people crying, and I was one of them, would not have existed. Yep, you're absolutely right. And that's a good way to look at it. I'm going to hold out hope that we're going to get some great Star Wars, and I don't want it to be leaked for me.
Yeah.
So I will lean on this guy to read it all and tell me what I need to know.
Yeah, he's a good pre-filter.
Yep.
I do like to read. Got that from my pops. But I'm with you, right? I mean, I think they have proven their ability to keep wonderful moments a secret. Luke's return is a great example, but if you back it up, Grogu's existence in the first place is another great one.
Yeah.
Right. These are two.
Is it? I don't even like him.
Well, but
I like Grogu.
but you have to admit, right? The Mandalorian series' appeal wouldn't be as appealing if there was no Grogu, right? Yeah. And they kept that supremely under wraps, right? And they've been very proud of themselves on those two things, right? On their ability to keep Grogu a secret, and also on their
ability big secrets to keep, man.
To hide Luke's return and Hamill's involvement and all the rest of it, you know. So it can be done. Right, Coach, on your point, you know, the fact that the whole Kenobi series got leaked, it kind of says to me that they're like, we don't care if the story leaks, right? We're all about treading on, you know, the fact that Ewan and Hayden are back. That's going to carry us, right? That's going to carry us through the series, regardless of whether or not the story gets out there. Maybe they weren't right on that, right? So.
I want to smile a little bit. We got anything positive tonight?
Yeah.
We do.
Keep going, Coach. Keep going. Well, you know what's coming next? We've got the Omega survey.
Let's do it, everybody. Let's do it.
We can do it.
How close are you to Omega? That's what we want to know. I was 10%. Everybody go and take the Omega quiz right now. It's 10 questions, super easy. We'll do it right here with you. The link is in chat right now. Go there so you could see how much you are like Omega. So what percent are you? X-Wing, I'll do you.
Oh, we're gonna do me? Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do you. Okay.
All right. I was pulling up.
What makes a good soldier? They follow orders, they help people in need, they look out for their squad, they always complete the mission.
They look out for their squad.
Okay, all right. I would have been wrong.
What were you going to say? He was going to say.
I was going to say he's going to say they always complete their mission. But okay,
well, you can't complete the mission if your squad's dead. So look out for your squad.
Okay, I like it. All right. What's your ideal job? Fitness coach, lab assistant, teacher, manager. I'm going to say you're going to say manager.
Man, I like teacher.
Okay. Ugh, you might want to reconsider.
Well, no, yeah. Ideal is a strong
Trust
word
me, dude.
for that one.
Trust me. I was out playing disc golf today, and this 14-year-old came walking up with some of his friends, and one of his friends were just on my nerves. And I said, son, you got to go play somewhere else. I can't. I said, I'm around bad 14-year-olds Monday through Friday. Saturday's my day off.
It's more the idea. Like you want to make an impact on people. That's
true. That's good. Yeah. That's good. I like that. How do you like to unwind? Archery, chess, snacking, napping. I'm going to say snacking.
Archery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm a recurve and longbow shooter.
All right. Which member of Clone...
damn it. I should have answered different on that one.
Which member of Clone Force 99 would you take on a road trip? Wrecker or
Wrecker all day.
Wrecker
all day. We'd be crushing beers.
Which Star Wars character do you find most relatable? Hera, Boba Fett, Gonki, Kylo Ren.
I'm not relatable to any of these people.
You got to pick one.
I guess Boba. I guess Boba. Well, one's a droid.
I'm sorry. Who is Gonki?
The Gonk droid.
I've never heard him called Gonki.
I haven't heard him called Gonky either.
Okay.
Maybe they called him that in the Bad Batch or something like that.
How do you prefer to travel? Boat, train, first class, family?
I'm interested to hear what you think.
How do you travel by family? That what?
That
doesn't even belong.
That really is a weird question.
Yeah.
Or answer, I should say.
That's the school teacher
family.
in me right
or with
there,
family.
Like, I'm gonna say train.
Correct. Love to travel by train. I've gone all the way across the United States and back on train.
Don't play me like I don't know you. All right. What is your greatest strength? Physical fitness, mental acuity, compassion and empathy, curiosity and inquisitiveness. I'm going to say, you're going to want to say compassion and empathy, but your real answer is mental acuity.
Curiosity and inquisitiveness.
Damn it.
My drive to learn everything, I feel like is mostly.
Ladies, Celtic Moon.
Oh, no.
Donna got 10%. Beskar Man 10%. Red Tigers 10%. I'm 100% too. Jeez. All right. Here we go. Let's continue. How good is your hand-eye coordination? Perfect, pretty good, a work in progress. I often drop things.
Perfect.
You're trying to be like Omega, aren't you?
No, just years and years and years of video games and sports and everything like that. I'm quick.
You're donating some items to charity. Choose just one item to keep. Lula, Bad Batcher toy, kaleidoscope, helmet.
Helmet.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah,
definitely helmet.
Easy.
All right. Last question. What Star Wars creature would make the best pet? Ruby, a baby Rancor, an Ordo moon dragon, an ice spider.
I want to answer one way.
What is Ruby?
I was going to say, what is Ruby?
I don't know.
Maybe that's like from Star Wars Resistance or something.
Yeah, I don't know what Ruby is.
Star Wars Resistance alone.
I'm going to say, oh, man, I want to say Ice Spider because I know that she would say Baby Rancor, but honestly, a baby, I have to be honest on this. I'm going to say Baby Rancor.
You are 75% Omega.
Oh, no.
Don't give up. Everyone. We're nearly there in terms of the cloning process. You're almost 100% Omega. Now that you know what percent Omega you are, why not see how much you have in common with Princess Leia? No, we're good.
Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
Oh, Ruby was that cute little lizard thing from the Bad Batch that they smuggled in because the Roland wanted Ruby.
75%. Just cancel my channel. I'm off of YouTube. Sorry, guys. Wow. That's it. I'm done.
Look, Junk Man, honest, is Omega a boy or a girl?
Oh, let's not get into that conversation. There's a whole conversation about that. Let's not get into that conversation.
All right. A little bit more in Star Wars news. John Williams is going to be back doing movies.
Scroll back up really quick.
We don't know if he's going to.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
What?
Nothing. I thought I saw something.
You want to see Star Wars News Net and their bad website?
No.
Okay. Little inside joke there, isn't it, man? All right, John Williams. He did retire, and Steven Spielberg talked him out of it, and he says that music is part of him, and a day without music is like dying. So he said he will be back doing big blockbuster films, so he could be doing more Star Wars in the future. We'll see.
He scored The Fabelmans. By the way, Spielberg won a directorial award just recently for The Fabelmans, which seems a little bit self-aggrandizing because it was about his life story. But okay, whatever. He's still, but John Williams did the score for that movie, and it was wonderful, right? So as long as he's interested in continuing, hey, please, thank you.
Also in the news, Gina Carano hits back after being mocked for going from Star Wars to, which is incorrect, by the way, a $804 flop. Which the movie made a lot more than $804 because it was
this soundbite. I hate this soundbite because here comes the rant, right? Because it wasn't released in the box office.
Exactly.
Right? Using box office.
I know.
It was one theater, one night.
Yeah, to soundbite, the fact that it made $2,000. That wasn't their release. It wasn't where they.
If that was released in theaters and made $804, that would have made national headlines.
It's a sound. It's a
exactly.
It's a soundbite.
That's exactly right.
Right. It's a soundbite.
Yep, it is. So, but good for Gina not taking that crap. The guy says here, well, I did it again.
You clicked. Yeah.
Boomer.
You're back.
I was looking for the initial tweet. I saw it before, but she gets into a back and forth with
she left a dead body on Twitter. It was awesome.
Yeah, the initial tweet was I'm paraphrasing, right? But the initial tweet was, imagine having everything you could have had with Star Wars and you left it to have a successful $804 movie.
Yeah.
That was me paraphrasing the initial tweet. I'm like, really?
The last one in the line was my favorite. The genuine bag fumble is selling out to journalists like you who sold out to America and stop asking questions to be liked by a fickle, manipulated mob. That's what you valued, and that'll be your legacy. I'm like,
knockout.
And then he blocked her. Right? He was like, nah, I'm out. He just blocked. And then he tried to defend the blocking because I watched it. I was like, what are why?
I like tweets like that. They're understated. They're not mean. It's just, this is who you are, and I'm reminding you that.
All right, Matt, can you get us caught up?
We have had. I've been watching. We have had a super chat. Nikki, John Williams is the true chosen one. EBN is jealous of strong women. Hell, Matt, and X-Wing is okay.
I don't know what it means by we're jealous of strong women.
She's just busting your balls. She's just busting your balls.
And I'll let you know, okay from Nikki is the highest of praise.
Yeah, and I have to say, Drunk 3PO was very jealous of her super chat. Her super chat on stream.
He's always mad. I
don't think I missed any though, Coach. I think
Cardinal Simpson in a $4.99 super chat. He said, question for each member of the panel: what is your favorite original trilogy Star Wars scene and why?
Gracious, that must have been. Oh, I missed it. Yeah. There we go.
My favorite scene is the look back that Obi-Wan gives Luke, and then he turns back to Vader and he dies. As if to say, I know something you don't know, to his old friend Anakin. There's just so much meaning in that scene. And the strength that Obi-Wan had, to lift his saber up and die, instantly. Great scene. Great scene. That's mine.
This is so.
That was pretty easy for me.
Yeah, you went right,
dude. It's tough
because we've had that conversation so many times.
Yeah,
right to it. Gracious. I mean,
come on, prequel, baby.
Action? No. I'm thinking about so many different ones. Are we talking about action, emotion, music? Like
your favorite?
Your favorite? Yeah, because that's where I was going. It's like boring conversation anyway. I was like, there's so many things coming to my mind that are memorable. But what is the favorite?
I honestly think it's the cremation of Vader. It's tough because it's a culmination of everything that happened, and then you feel like in the end of that like even though goodness triumphed in the end, you're still having to bury your father. You know what I mean? It was just impactful for me. I don't know.
I'm probably gonna pick a weird one, right? But one scene that always chokes me up and still does is at the end of A New Hope when they're getting their medals, right? When the music is playing and they're marching down.
The Yavin medal ceremony.
Yeah, and after all that has happened, I mean, for me, that's
a really good one.
One of the most wonderful, just beautiful. I mean, I know Chewie didn't get his medal. That kind of sucks, right? But I mean,
the music there.
But the music and everything, and then the droids are all shined up. to me, if I think about a perfect scene from a movie, that's pretty high on my list.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What are you laughing at? Oh, Greedo shot first, so I'm glad it worked out.
Oh my God, yeah, Jay's got a good one. That I still, to this day, if you even hear the same pitch of the tone of Luke, you just like it immediately takes you right there.
Yeah. And he was going to eat. The food didn't look that great, right? He's like, "Oh, here we go, another Tuesday night, right? We're having leftovers."
Chewbacca does not want a reward for doing what is right.
We're having leftovers.
Chewbacca also doesn't want to console Princess Leia after Han got killed right in front of his face.
I said he didn't get a medal. That's what I said. I was like, no. I said, the fact that he didn't get a medal is sad.
Yeah,
it's sad. He got it later. And no, let's not.
It's our stream now. What do you want to do? He's
let's
gone.
not go into when he actually got the medal.
We got a funny thing that we're going to do next. Did we get them all?
Yeah. There was just a couple, unless I missed one.
Yeah,
you did.
So Venger sent in a member chat. He said, "Do you think Admiral Rampart will recall all the clones to their base and cull them by having stormtroopers shoot at them in a pit or kill them? I guess, just to stop more desertions. The Great Clone Massacre."
This is where I'm. That's why I say it obviously can go, for me, it can go either ways, right? People want to see a clone uprising. At this point, I'm like, I think it's more likely just to see a clone massacre, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest issue, right? It's still at this point, we haven't reached that tipping point in the story, I don't think, from a conscription versus a clone perspective, right? Because as much as Rampart might think they're useless and whatever, they're defecting again and they're not as advertised, he needs them, right? Because there just isn't enough conscription, trained up stormtroopers yet for it to be a viable replacement. So I think he's biding his time. If they tell us the story about that tipping point, then I don't know about a rebellion. I think it's going to be a massacre.
Can I pose a question?
Do it.
Because I changed my mind, actually. I take it back. A Jedi's Fury, that fight, I think that's my favorite part of the original trilogy. When you see Luke break and he gets angry, I think that's my favorite part.
I think I'm going to change mine too. When Vader was doing the back and forth thing between Son and Emperor, and then he
lunges. It was like Anakin, Vader, Vader.
Yeah. And the music is playing in that.
Yeah.
And he picks the Emperor up. That's my scene.
Yeah.
That's the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. That's my favorite Star Wars.
It's interesting to me. None of us picked "No, I Am Your Father," right? From
people in the chat. People in the chat did.
Yeah, but we're Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, and I'm like, that was kind of like maybe that's why I didn't choose it. I was like, that's kind of like the obvious choice.
So my question, especially to Coach, because we've argued about this endlessly, what's your favorite moment from the prequel trilogy?
Oh, that's easy. And 2 royal guards go busting into the wall.
Oh, when Yoda just yeets him.
No, I'm kidding. That's not it. But that's up there. My favorite moment from the prequel trilogy is I'm going to have to say, you know what? So for me, I guess this one could change depending on the day, like with anything else with Star Wars. I'm going to say Yoda. When Yoda first seeing it for the first time, Yoda pulling out the lightsaber.
With Dooku.
On Geonosis?
The first time I ever saw it rewatchability,
But-
it would be Yoda versus the Emperor.
I was gonna say it was more epic, right? When he was.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite of you guys.
How do you mean?
They're those. So for in terms of like cool moment, I think the Yoda Dooku fight I prefer over the Palpatine fight.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like the Palpatine fight was kind of overblown. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I just love the way the Emperor mocked him.
Anything
right,
with
the whole time.
Padme in the all-white outfit on Geonosis.
It's pretty much a win. Yeah,
My
pretty much a win. Yeah.
I mean for me personally, I think it's the whole fight sequence between Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar. I mean, for me, that even more. I mean, I love Yoda kicking ass, right? Or
Mine
trying.
has to be. Used to say people are gonna die.
I knew Jar Jar was gonna show up at some point.
Jeebers.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not Star Wars, nothing is.
100% my absolute favorite moment in the entire trilogy. I mean, obviously they're like more emotionally impactful moments, but in terms of just sitting there and being like, it's the battle on Geonosis.
Well, I am so glad that we're having this conversation because
Wait,
that's
we have one more conversation we have to have on our favorite before
We were
move
just
on.
having fun.
That's what we're doing.
We have to say.
This is what you're talking about, right, Risman?
What is our favorite moment from the sequel trilogy? I mean, we've done prequels.
That's easy.
We've done OT. What's the favorite moment from the sequels trilogy?
There was only one good moment in 9 hours of content. So,
what is
I disagree.
What do you think?
Yoda. Yoda.
What? That was awful.
We are what they grow beyond.
That wasn't Yoda.
I mean, he looked weird, yeah. And
not only did he look weird, that was not his personality. That was fake Yoda personality from Empire.
I'm not talking about him striking Sith lightning down onto a tree, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I'm just saying the only thing that was close to like a moment for me was, well, I take that back. Carrie Fisher and Luke, just for like the 2 seconds there. Carrie Fisher and Mark.
For me, and X-Wing knows this already, right? But for me, it's 100% Yoda's interaction with Luke.
Yeah.
In that movie,
It was the only original trilogy content in the sequels. Those were the only things that did anything at all.
Yeah.
When Luke shows up on whatever the name of that planet is,
great.
And
You're
he
talking about
walks
that
through there.
That was good.
Talks to Leia, looks at 3PO, and he walks out. And I'm in the theater going, first of all, you talk about a roller coaster of emotions. I am pissed this whole time. And then at the end, I am so confused because I'm going, wait a minute, what's going on?
You liked it when he said you changed your hair, right? That was your favorite.
He doesn't look the same. He doesn't like this is how I would have expected him to look. You know, like, whoa. Is he about to redeem himself? And then,
nope.
But that whole moment was a great moment to me.
I was so
if it had been real, it would have been even better. You know? I would say there's a personal reason for the end of The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, where the camera pans and you see Luke for the very first time.
Before he throws the lightsaber, clearly.
Yeah. I watched that scene with I watched that scene with my mother. And I think it was the last thing we ever watched together. And she knew we always watched Star Wars together. And I sat there and cried as I watched it with her for the first time. And she sat there and hugged me, and she loved it, and she was so excited about it. I thought that we were going to get the Luke that we all thought we were going to get at that time, but watching that with my mom was special for me. So,
damn, lay it on heavy, why don't you? Yeah, I feel that.
But sometimes, on this point, right? Sometimes circumstantially we enjoy something for more than just the content, right? Because you had an experience with your mom, right? Or you had a good time with friends or whatever, and then we put all that together and encapsulates what we were watching. It's special, right? Special.
So
that junk man actually topped himself in the chat for the stupidest thing he said all night.
Well, he says a lot of stupid things, so yeah,
this is definitely the winner.
What did he say?
You know what? That jump man is about to be on fire when he sees this article.
Oh no!
The top 7 greatest scenes from any Star Wars film in history, according to Fansided.
Oh, this is great.
Oh,
this
boy.
is great. This
Oh,
is great.
Okay.
This is great.
So this is, according to this guy, Giovanni somebody. Good luck with that. I can't help you there. But Giovanni says, and chat, we want y'all in on this. The 7 greatest scenes from any Star Wars film in history. I'm going to scroll down, so we're going to go backwards. We're going to start with number 7, Han Solo confronting Kylo Ren.
Okay.
Top 7 moments in Star Wars history.
They're going to ignore 40 years of storytelling, aren't they?
Number 7, Han confronting Kylo Ren. That wouldn't even be in the top 70. Might not be the top 700.
I got to tell you, though, when I was in the theater and Harrison goes, Ben! I was like, oh, I was really excited. And then the rest happened.
Yeah, I was really excited when the lightsaber was flying through the air and they started playing Luke's Jedi theme.
Mm.
And then it wasn't him.
Don't get me started on the music of Star Wars. They
All
abuse themes horribly.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Number 6.
Yeah, nothing to say there.
Number 6, the Jedi steps.
The Jedi steps.
Walking up the steps to see Luke at the end of The Force Awakens.
I love this article. This article is so bad.
Is this
No?
honestly, legitimately, is this a parody site?
No, this is not a parody.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Here we go. Number 5, Luke Skywalker and Master Yoda on Dagobah.
But look at the picture they chose.
That's a really good picture for the article.
What is this picture?
I think that's a cake.
It's a cake topper. What is this picture?
I think that's a cake.
They couldn't even actually get a picture of him.
That's the Ryan Johnson Yoda that they used.
The model is so bad for Yoda.
It's so
bad.
All right. So we got 765. Here we go. Number 4.
It's back, Risman.
The death of Darth Vader.
Yeah. Well, what are we considering the death? This is the cremation or the death when he's on the shuttle ramp?
I mean, I either way is fine with me.
Yeah. Those are agreed.
That conversation with Luke and dying is epic.
Why did they change his helmet? Like, why?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah. But again, I know I'm nitpicking. Maybe I'm nick-picking. But this picture is from Kenobi,
Yeah,
right?
the picture's irrelevant. Everybody.
But I'm saying, why don't they
clearly?
Why don't they take a picture that has something to do with what they're talking about?
They easily could have had Vader like on fire.
That's who we saw in Kenobi. Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. What did friggin' Jay said this on streamer? He was a Grand Mackerel Thrawn. Grand Mackerel.
All right, here we go. Number 3. The super intense battle on Mustafar.
They can't even name the correct names for these things.
Yeah, he don't know.
I mean, they put battle. That was a start.
It was super intense.
It's the way that they want to describe it, you know.
Somebody
All right.
literally.
But at least he's
this.
right. Well, hold on. I don't even know if Anakin versus Kenobi from Episode 3 makes my top 7.
Oh, it does for me.
but I would imagine that it does most people.
Yeah.
But that's what an original trilogy.
Yeah, battle. It was the Battle of Heroes. So they got one word right.
You know. Anyways.
Wow.
All right. Here we go. Number 2. Number 2. Rey accepting her destiny with the Force.
Oh yeah, we had to have Rey. That's great.
If number 1 is what I think it is, I'm throwing my computer.
Oh, you're going to be so happy.
What do you think
number
it is?
1. You're going to be
Rey's a Skywalker at the end.
Oh, dang!
You're going to be even happier about number 1. Even happier.
Number 1 is for you. There is no doubt.
Yeah, it is.
Here we go. Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader's battle in Kenobi.
I love this article so much.
This is Star Wars. Welcome to 2023, everybody. I can't go off right now. I can't go off. I'm going to get in trouble if I go off because what kind of moron? Oh my God. Nick Gillard is crying right now. Nick Gillard is literally crying. Bruh. Of all of the things that you could have picked from anywhere in Star Wars, that get me off screen. Get this camera out of my face. Get this camera out of my face.
I can't stop laughing. That was almost better. That was almost better than if Nick was here.
I know. I was so excited. I was so excited to go through all that with Nick because Nick would have crapped all over all that.
That was just
would have been entertaining.
Dude, if I go off like that talking about that now, I'm gonna have to make a video on that. But dude, you don't want me going off on that.
They picked that. Could you not have picked the New Hope battle?
That's the kind of person that if they do a retcon or a alternate universe or whatever, that person will be pissed. Because Star Wars is 10 out of 10 for them right now, anyways.
Could they not have picked Kenobi versus Vader in A New Hope? I mean, come on! If you're gonna pick a Kenobi and Vader something,
I'm legitimately speechless.
Was perfect.
And those are the kind of people that are like, yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars fans like the new stuff. Like, shut up, please, shut up. Who hired you,
Matt? We got another super chat. Skits 3D.
Yeah, let me go back.
Sends in a $20 super chat.
Well, Skits 3D might be one of.
They're considered qualified to write about Star Wars. That's like.
Well, it's Dork Side of the Force, right? I mean, you have to.
It's got to be parody.
Consider the source. My goodness, where is the super chat, Coach? I'm going. Well, this chat has been so active.
Skits 3D's our newest member, and he says, "Here's my thinking, and I have thought about this for a while, but now defective clones had been called Bad Batchers before in the Clone Wars. So any clone that rebels is now a Bad Batcher."
Rest in peace, 99.
Interesting.
Oh.
Do you guys think this is the end of the Bad Batch? Do you think we'll get a season 3?
They should probably end it.
So
I agree.
So here's the interesting thing about it, right? I read there was an interview or two who asked the creators, and instead of asking the question, "Are we going to get more Bad Batch?" the question they asked was, "Where is the Bad Batch during the original trilogy?" Right? What? So they're kind of being sneaky about it, right? Or they thought they were, and the showrunner creators were like, "Yeah, not going to answer that." So that makes me think. A lot of folks have said Omega is going to be the only survivor of the Bad Batch. They're going to get killed or whatever during the season or whatever. I don't think so. Right? Does that mean there's going to be a Bad Batch season 3? Maybe not. Does that? But I don't. For me, if anyone dies in the Bad Batch, it's going to be Crosshair. Right. That's just my personal opinion. But because they refuse to answer the where were they later part of the commentary, that tells me that they're leaving it open to do something else. I don't think this is going to be the last Star Wars animated project, right? And so if you think about it just realistically speaking, if they're going to do more animation, it would seem to somehow tie into what we're getting now. So yeah,
I agree with Tans. I think Hunter will die saving Omega.
I don't know, right? This again, I'm saying, the question was, where are they now, right? Or why haven't we seen them before or later on? I think they've left that very open-ended on purpose. I hope this isn't the last animated project. I know we're getting Visions season 2. That's a whole different kettle of fish, right? I mean, I'm just talking about traditional animated Star Wars storytelling.
I'm still pissed off about the article. I can't move on.
Oh, you're still on the rating?
I'm still steaming, dude.
I hear you. Well, Jacob Glazer sends in a member chat. Have you guys watched the TIE Fighter animated short by Oda King? It's absolutely spectacular. There's an updated version with music and sound effects. I'll have to check that out. I have not seen it.
I don't think
if it's the one I'm thinking, it's a little anime-y, but it's really good.
Oh, if it's that anime one that they clipped into Tenor that we've used before, that's way cool.
Yeah, it is. It's the one that's a little anime-y, but it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, anything y'all want to say here as we close? Plug your channel. What's going on?
Sure. Yeah, I'm X-Wing, Star Wars YouTuber. Kind of in a weird spot right now because much like Echo Base, I realize very well where we are in the Star Wars fan base. And I have been told repeatedly to stop talking about it. Do something else. Your channel's going to die. This is like, you have more to contribute than just talking about this dying franchise. But I'm not going to, because Star Wars runs in my blood. I can't get rid of it. It's never going to go away. So all I can do is stick with it. And there have been dark times in the past, and we're in dark times now. But, maybe there is a silver lining. Maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to keep talking about it. And if it gets bad enough, then I'll still be talking about it.
Matt?
I'm just always happy to be here. Happy to be a part of this great community. And X-Wing's A-OK. I put the link to his channel in the chat. So if you all aren't subscribed and so inclined, please go and subscribe there. Coach, I thought this was a wonderful conversation. I know there's still some people in the chat that are missing Nick. I know we're not Nick, but I hope everyone that was here was entertained and really enjoyed the stream. We work hard to put these things together and to try and make them entertaining and interesting. So I thought this was a good one, Coach. So really,
I will tell you guys, Nick and I will be streaming tomorrow night together, the two of us. It'll be a chill stream. We'll get caught up with everybody. Nick hated that he couldn't be here tonight, but he was unable to make it. So we will do a chill stream tomorrow. It'll be probably about right now-ish, this kind of time. It's 9:20 Central Time. I don't know where you're at, but it'll be around 9 o'clock Central if I had to guess. Maybe 8. I don't know. But once I do know, we'll definitely let everybody know. We'll be here. So come see me and Nick. We got a lot of things going on this week, as always, over on Patreon and doing lore videos and things like that and getting everybody caught up. So big projects underway. Thank you guys so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to my wonderful co-host tonight, my brothers here, Matt Risman and X-Wing. They really are fantastic, guys. So as we always say here, you are Echo Base Network. Welcome to our 21 new members of the channel. We are honored by your presence, and may the force be with you. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace and love all. Great to have you here.
Ciao, guys.
Coach and Nick from Echo Base
Base Network, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. X-Wing needs to shave.
Wash your face.
Get rid of that mustache. It's over. It's over. It's done. It's done.
I think X-Wing wrote that article. He's a Kenobi fanboy. Why are you still here? Get out of here.
No.